Class, tonight we're going to be working on ordering rational numbers. Remember that rational numbers are any number that can be written as a fraction. And we're going to be taking some notes, and so we're going to be doing fractions as division first. So a fraction bar is one way to represent division. This can be used to convert a fraction to a decimal by dividing the numerator by the denominator. Now, the way I like to remember that is this little term right here called NIDO. It stands for numerator inside, denominator outside. You need to write that down and fill in what it stands for. So numerator in, denominator out. What does that mean? Well, I can write A divided by B equals A divided by B, or I can write it like this with a division box with my numerator going inside, so A is inside, and my denominator going outside, so my B is outside. Or 3 divided by 4, 3 divided by 4, and that's 3, numerator inside, denominator outside, just like that. Remember, you are always welcome to pause the video if you need to catch up with your writing. Okay, we are going to convert the following fractions to decimals by dividing. So we're going to do that. We're going to do NIDO. The numerator goes in, the denominator goes out. So my numerator goes inside, my denominator goes outside. We bring my decimal point up. And does 2 go into 1? And the answer is no, so I put a 0 here. Does 2 go into 10? The answer is yes. How many times? 2 times what is 10? The answer is 5. So I'm going to subtract 5, and I have 0 as a remainder. I am done. Number 2, we're going to do the same way. Numerator goes in the house, add a decimal and 2 zeros. The denominator goes outside the house. Does 10 go into 9? The answer is no. Does 10 go into 90? Yes. How many times? 10 times what is 90? The answer is 9. Subtract, bring down, we have no remainder, we're finished. Now, sometimes we have remainders, and sometimes we have remainders that don't end, so we're going to look at this one next. We draw our division box. The numerator goes inside the house, and the denominator goes outside the house. Can 3 go into 2? The answer is no, so we put a 0. Can 3 go into 20? The answer is yes. How many times? 3 times what is close to 20? 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 6 is 18. And 3 times 7 is 21. Well, 21 is too big, so we're going to use that 6. 3 times 6 is 18. I'm going to subtract and bring down my 0, and I get a 20. Well, 3 goes into 20. Oh, we just did that. 6. I get 18. Subtract. Uh-oh. Add another 0. What's going to keep happening? Well, that 6 is going to repeat. So we're going to add a repeating bar above my 6. This tells me that that 6 repeats forever. It never ends. So because we can't write 0.66666666666 forever, that would be, we just sit here forever doing it. We're just going to use this notation, which is a repeating bar, to tell us it goes on forever. Let's look at number 4. 7/4. 7 goes inside, add your decimal point and 2 zeros. 4 goes outside because it's the denominator. Does 4 go into 7? The answer is yes. How many times? 1 time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract and bring down your 0. How many times does 4 go into 30? Well, 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 8 is 32. So we are going to use that 7 because that's the closest without going over. And I get 28. I subtract and bring down a 0. Does 4 go into 20? Yes. 4 times 5 is 20. And that gives us no remainder. So we are done. This is how we convert a fraction to a decimal using division. Okay, this is a chart or a table that's going to help us with the various representations. So we have fraction, traditional division, the division box, and then a verbal description. So this says 3 divided by 5, and I'm going to write it again, 3 divided by 5. The next one I'm going to do, remember this is NIDO, N-I-D-O. Numerator goes inside, so 3 goes inside, denominator goes outside, and I would just write 3 divided by 5. All words, no numbers, no symbols. Okay, this one is 5 divided by 4. The 5 goes on top, then your division symbol, then the 4. We draw our box. Numerator goes inside. Denominator goes outside. And this becomes 5 divided by 4. We're going to look at this one. Remember, the numerator is inside, so my numerator is 1. The denominator is outside. My denominator is 3. I can rewrite it this way. And then I write 1 divided by 3. Okay, I get 3 divided by 2, 3 divided by 2, 3 divided by 2. Numerator goes inside the house. Denominator goes outside. Okay, fractions can be placed on a number line or converted to a decimal to help order them. So this is what we are going to disappear. Okay, so we're going to place these on a number line. So we're going to start with A, and this is 2/5. Now, 2/5 is the same as 4/10. Equivalent fractions. I can go like this, times 2 times 2. That gives me 4/10. Now, 4/10 is just a little bit less than a half, right? Like think about 40 cents. It's a little bit less. So 2/5 is going to come between 0 and 1, and this is your half. So it's a little bit less than a half. So this is A, 2/5. B is -3 and 1/4. Now remember, if you get stuck on any of these, you are free to come in and do your division and get your answer. 4/10, just like that. I happen to know 1/4 is the same as a quarter. So -3 and 25 hundredths, or -3 and a quarter. So I'm going to go to -3. 1, 2, 3. Here's my half. A quarter is halfway between 3 and 3.5. So -3. Oops, sorry. I just need to use B. I'm just going to make that into a B. Okay. 2 and 1/10. This is the exact same thing as saying like this, $2.10. And so we're going to come over to 2. It's not to 250, right? 2.5. So it's going to be just a little bit in, and there is C. 2 and 3/5. Well, 3/5, I actually have a little cheat for you, but I'm going to teach that to you maybe in class. Remind me, and I'll show you the cheat for in class. It has to do with your hand. And so does 5 go into 3? The answer is no. Does 5 go into 30? Yes, 6 times. So it is 2.6 or 2.60 if you want to think about money. And so we're going to come over to 2, go to 2.5, right? A little bit further, and there's your D. And then finally we have E, -2 and 3/4. This is also the same thing as -2 and 3/4. Well, how many is 3/4? 75 cents. So I'm going to come over to -2. Here's a half. Remember, I can divide these into fourths. There's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Look at that. And there is our E right there. -2 and 3/4. Fractions can also be used compared using like denominators. And that is what we're going to look at next. Okay, find the least common denominator. This is what we're going to do first. And we call this an LCD because math teachers are lazy. Yes, you got it. So we're going to look at these numbers, just the denominators. 12, 3, 6, 4. What do they all have in common? Well, if we think about it, 3, 4, 6, 12. If I count by threes, I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 4, I have 4, 8, 12, 16. 6, I have 6, 12, 18, 24. And 12, I have 12, 24, 36. What number do they all have in common? The first one, the very first they have in common is the number 12. That is your least common denominator, and that's exactly how you find it. The number that they all multiply into. So we're going to order these from least to greatest. So we have to make these all denominators of 12. Well, that first one is already a 12. How about 2/3? What do I have to multiply 3 by to get to 12? Well, 3 times 4 is 12. So whatever I do to the bottom, I do the top. So I have 8/12. And then I need to do 5/6 times what is 12? Well, 6 times 2 is 12. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top, multiply straight across. 5 times 2 is 10. Last one, 1/4. What do I do to 4 to get to 12? 4 times what is 12? 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top, multiply straight across. This gives me all the same denominators. So I'm going from greatest to least. Look at what it's telling me. So we need to, I'm going to go back up here, rename the fraction. I did all these. Order the fractions, which we're going to do, and then you write the original fractions. Okay, so now I'm going to go from least to greatest, greatest to least. I can't read myself. So 11/12 was the biggest, right? The next one would be 10/12. Well, what was that originally? That was 5/6. So my next one is 5/6. Looking at the ones I have left, I have 8/12 or 3/12. So this one is next, 2/3. And last but not least, I have 1/4. And that's going from greatest to least. Now, these we're going to take a look at. This one here on the end, they're trying to trick us. Okay, it's an improper fraction, so your numerator is bigger than your denominator. So you ask yourselves, how many 5s go into 17? And the answer is 3, right? 3 times 5 is 15. What is 17 minus 15? Hopefully you all said 2. So your mixed number is 3 2/5. Awesome. Okay, looking at your denominators, I have a 5, a 4, a 20, and a 5. What do you guys think our least common denominator is? I hope you're all shouting 20 at me right now. Okay, so we're going to ask ourselves, I need to make 1/5 into 20. What do I need to multiply by? 4, correct. That gives me 4/20. This is 3 4/20. My next one is 1/4, and I need to make that into a 20. So I need to multiply by, you got it, 5. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top, and that's a 3 5/20. And the next one's already written, 3 3/20. And then I have 3 2/5. And so I need to go, well, I need to multiply that by something to get to 20, and that is a 4. So I have 3 8/20. Once again, we're going from greatest to least. So the biggest last number, I have 4, 5, 3, 8. Which one's the biggest? 3 8/20. So that becomes 3 2/5 is our biggest number. And, which was also 17/5. I need to rewrite that. Put that back to what we originally had. And then our next one, looking at what we have left, is 3 5/20, which is 3 1/4. And then I have 3 4/20, which is 3 1/5. And the last one would be 3 3/8. 20ths. Okay, use your understanding of ordering rational numbers to answer these questions below. You are going to answer these 4 questions on your own. Be ready to go over them and have me check them in class. Okay? Hope you guys have a great evening, and I will see you all tomorrow.